So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about interview questions and what are some silly ones and what are some good ones. First, I want to apologize. We have a little bit of a cold, so my voice is I'll sound a little bit like Demi Moore, and I may be a little more irascible. So let's see if we can make it through without me hacking up a lung. So what are some silly interview questions? And this is one of the silliest. How many clustered indexes are there allowed, or non-clustered indexes are there allowed on a table? And the right response is, who cares? That's right, who cares? I mean, what an absolutely moronic question. There is no good answer, right? It's a balance to be struck. And that balance to be struck is the benefit from data retrieval for getting that information back to the user, back to the application as fast as you can, and weighing that against the penalty you're going to pay for the inserts, updates, and deletes on that table. All right, so the correct answer is it's a balance, and there really is no good number, magic number. There is no, well, it's good to have 8 indexes. That seems to be the magic number. Or, 2 non-clustered indexes seems too many. Or how about 40? Right? It is dependent upon each table and the usage of that table. So let's take a look at maybe a better question. So a lot of these are aimed at mid to senior level resources. So instead of asking these cut and dry responses, these one word, you ask the question, they fire back one word responses. How about opening it up? So maybe a better question would be, can you walk me through how you optimize an instance? So what you just did, you just said instance. You didn't say database. So the prospective client has to think, right? He can't think in terms of a single database. He has to think about the instance. So if he starts to give you ways he's going to optimize the one database, he didn't listen to the question. And you could rephrase it and say, no, I asked, can you talk about the instance? How would you optimize the instance? And there are several things that affect performance of a SQL server, right? One of those is CPU, one of those is memory, and one of those is I/O. And out of those three, if you have been around a while, you'll know that I/O is probably the one sore spot there, the one that's often in the worst shape, and spend a lot of time. I knew it. Wouldn't make it through without coughing. Excuse me, folks. Apologize. I/O is one of the sore points of troubleshooting a SQL server. So, did they talk about that? Did they mention TempDB? Why is TempDB? Did they mention SGAM? Did they mention GAMS? Did they mention why they may create more than one TempDB? Why it's a good idea? Do they create more than one TempDB data file, or did they create more than one TempDB log file? Why would you create more than one log file? You wouldn't. The log files were written to serially. I say that 3 or 4 times real fast. There is never a reason to have more than one log file, right? Because log files will never be written to in parallel, right? Serially, they're written to line by line. It's like a stream of consciousness. That's what transaction logs are. Do they talk about wait stats? It seems to be growing. There seems to be a lot of senior resources and mid resources are getting to know a lot more about wait stats. Yes, it's a little bit of a niche, so to speak, but it's something you're going to have to know in order to troubleshoot an instance, right? That server. And there is no better way than to drop a wait stats aggregated script in and say, bang, there we go. I see nothing but page IO latches and CX packets missing. I have an idea what's going on. Some moron took away CX, some moron set the max stop to 1, and we've got nothing but 50% page IO latches. There's a good chance that we have a problem with the disk subsystem. So I'm going to look at the files associated that are on this disk subsystem, and I'm going to look at write latency. So are they able to expand upon their how they go about tuning this instance instead of these, how do you tune an instance? Well, I go and start Profiler and then I capture. No, that's not really a good answer for someone who's at a senior level. All right, so what else we got? Oh, here's a good one. What are the system databases? Another, oh my goodness. Sorry, folks. Another cut and dry, silly question. Why is it silly? Because every junior level DBA knows what these are. So if you're interviewing a mid to senior level, it's like a canned response. Master, MSDB, TempDB. All right, they're going to come back fired in this, monotone response at you, like, is that all you got for me? All right. So again, I missed a slide. Got off on a little rant there. Here comes the well-rehearsed response, right? This monotone response they're going to give you back. How do you back up the resource database? Why is that a better question? Because I didn't ask the prospective applicant what the resource database was, right? I assumed that he knew what that was. And if he's read enough and if he's senior level, then he knows that the resource database can't be backed up like a normal database can, right? You've got to copy it off to a separate location. You back it up by right-clicking on it and moving it somewhere else. Right? That's how you back up the resource database. I didn't ask him what it was. I asked him how he backed it up. So the response of many senior level resources is going to be, the same way you back up on user database. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. And that is it. I've made it through. I don't think I've coughed that much, maybe 3 or 4 times. Here comes 5th. And I hope those that are interviewing, especially if you are a senior resource level or a mid-level resource yourself, and you're going to be interviewing these clients, that you give them some better questions than, say, a CIO or someone who doesn't know a lot about SQL Server would give them. All right. Thanks for watching.